Let me ask you this. Do you think or believe that there are certain truths that can, or messages that can only be conveyed through art? Meaning that on some messages words can't express, that it has to be conveyed or related through art.
God bless the real, holy, raw and real. 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 Church in the trap, God bless the real, holy, raw and real. Church in the trap, holy, raw and real. God bless the real, holy, raw and real.
All right, hey, what's up, man? Welcome back to Holy Raw and Real. We got a special guest with us. We got the guy who I would possibly say, or not possibly, but I can say that he is the artist behind the scene. You understand? He is the one who did the Holy Raw and Real artwork and put his time and his heart, his soul into it, man. We really appreciate it. So we got my dude Claude here, man. Yes, sir. So, Claude, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? I hope y'all day is blessed. Good day to everybody.
Good day to everybody. Yes, sir. So, Claude, we met through a mutual friend. I remember seeing Claude before, and I told him I had always seen him, but I never was properly introduced to him. And then Stan had told me about somebody I was looking for, an artist. He was like, "Oh man, I got a dude, man, one of the best dudes I know." And I'm like, "Well, then you got to put him on to me. Then let me get to him." And that's how we got introduced. And he put his time in on the artwork and the graffiti and everything that you see behind you. And not only did I find out that Claude is an amazing dude, but I also find out, man, that he's one of the most genuine believers that I've ever met as well. So we had to get him on the show, man, and we've been trying to get him here, and we thank God that he finally got here. So we're going to interview Claude and let y'all know a little things about Claude, man. Very special dude, been around the world maybe 2 or 3 times.
I wish, man. I wish I could travel more.
Right.
So much to see out there, man.
Right. So I'm gonna go back just a little. First of all, back to your hip hop and your Atlanta days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I forgot about that. Yeah, that DJing and being around the birth, I could say. The birth and the growth of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, just give me a little bit backstory on that. Then when you spend time in Atlanta.
Well, the thing was, I'm from Mobile, born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. And in '95, I went to the military.
Right.
And I really only joined it to travel. But my younger brother, he went to the military, but he stayed 8 years.
Right.
But I didn't stay at that. I didn't do almost the long haul like that. But I was in there, I did my time, but then when I got out, I came back to Mobile. And the crazy thing about it is, I was like, man, I want to see more, I want to do more. But I joined the military to travel, but it didn't take me nowhere. I was stateside the whole time.
Wow.
So when I got out, I was like, man, I still want to see the world because there's so much to see out there. And see, growing up in Mobile, I grew up watching MTV, BET, Video Vibrations, Video Soul, and all that stuff. And I was like, man, there's so much to see. But in Mobile is only limited to so much things. And I was like, man, a lot of these things people are doing, I want to do them. And time was going by, so I was like, that's when I joined the military, and then when I got out the military, then I found out everybody was going to Atlanta. And then I went one time. It was in 96 or 97. I went to Freaknik.
I was just about to ask you, was it Freaknik? I went to
Freaknik. Then when I went there, it just shocked me, man, because I never seen so many people and our people doing so many things. And what made me really want to move there, I saw a cop, a black woman. She was a policeman, but she had locks. She had long locks, and everyone knows that the police force is they're real kind of conservative type.
Right, absolutely.
But then when I saw that, but then I saw her, then I saw so many of our own people in power doing so many things.
Wow.
And I was like, And a friend of mine that he's still living there now. But I said, like, I'm like, man, this is the move. I want to go there. And then I told my parents. My parents were like, man, why are you going up there?
Right.
You know, you can barely make it here. So much. And the thing was, I stepped out on faith. That's what I did. Wow. I stepped out on faith. I went there. And everything was fine and everything. But then I was up there doing art and everything. But then I met my wife, but we wasn't married at the time.
Right. Yeah.
And she's from South America. She's from Argentina.
Right.
And then when I met her,
she's like Spanish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. South America.
Speaks Spanish, right?
She speaks Spanish and she speaks English.
Okay.
But she was brought up to learn English.
Oh, okay.
So she was taking care of business here for a client in Atlanta, and I met her in Atlanta. And she just looked at me. She saw me. She's like, man, look at that guy, his hand. I've never seen it.
Right.
So when I was talking to her, she asked me, she's like, what do you do? And I told her, I do art, I DJ. And I was like, man, what is it like there? She's like, you know, it's kind of nice there, but it's nice here. And I was like, man, I would love to go to your country to DJ. So next thing I know, I was talking to her, and she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. So she's like, I'll talk to some people in this and this. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I ain't paying no money. Because, you know, people talk. So I was
people
like, yeah.
do talk.
I was like, man, okay, whatever. I never thought of it like that.
Right.
But then she got back in contact with me. We would talk off and on. And she called me and she told me, she's like, are you sure you want to come to my country to DJ? Are you sure? You positive? I was like, yeah. She's like, check your email. She's like, you got a ticket there.
What?
She's like, you better be on that plane. Don't disappoint me because I have some people looking for you and coming to want to meet you to see what you can do. And one guy, his name was Sergio Hendler. He was, God bless him, he passed like 3 years ago. He's one of the top sports newscasters in Argentina.
Wow.
He would go all over the world interviewing athletes.
Right.
So I came and I met him and everything, and I started working there and everything. But the thing was, when I got that ticket, I had less than a week. And this was like the week of Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And this is when in Atlanta had their first white Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So she kept calling me and everything. So that the 3 days before that,
yeah,
I went and got some guys, some homeless guys. And I was like, man, do y'all want to make some money? So I got a U-Haul, and my last month's rent, I used to get the U-Haul and to pay those guys and to get a storage unit and everything. So I just grabbed everything. We grabbed everything out of my apartment, albums, everything, and just threw it in the storage. So next thing you know, and it was so cold. That winter was cold. So I almost didn't make it because the thing was they had to de-ice the plane. Wow. The wings on the plane. So when I got there, and I forgot the seasons change. So I left on the 24th. I arrived in Argentina on the 25th. And when I got off the plane, everybody was coat. I had on all wool. I had on wool pants. I had on a wool coat. I had on a turtleneck. Next thing you know, when I got there, everybody was at the airport looking at me because I had on this coat and I had on all these clothes.
Right.
And she saw me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing with all this on?" I was like, "Man, you just don't know. It is so cold over there. It's so cold in Atlanta now." So, and when I was there, the weather was like 75 degrees.
Man. So yeah, they really looking at you like, man, what this dude got going on? Yeah.
But other than that, like I met so many interesting and nice people there, man. The thing is, and it had to grow on me, is when they greet each other over there, they hug each other and they kiss each other.
Right.
But see, when I was there, I was like, man, don't do that. And one of my wife's friends told me, she's like,
every time me and you greet each other now, you know, I always greet with a handshake then a hug. You come in with a hug.
I know, and
immediately
it grew on me, and that grew on me. Like, and when I came back to the States, I was hugging everybody I know and all my friends and stuff, and they looking at me like, "Man, why are you hugging us?" I was like, "Man, I'm sorry." That kind of rubbed off on me. But when I was
the culture, though, you know.
Yeah, it's the culture. It's the love they have for each other, even those they don't know.
Right.
So when I was there, like almost the thing was I was supposed to be there for 3 weeks.
Right.
Then she asked me, she's like, well, you know it's going to be time for you to go. What are you going to do? So I talked to my mother, and I talked to her. She was like, well, you know, if you feel up to it, what's holding you back? Just stay. And at the same time, when I got my ticket, I was working at a furniture store. Okay. And this is what brings me back to that. And I told these guys I work with, I was like, man, I got an opportunity to go to Argentina and DJ. You think I should go? And a lot of people tell me like, man, what are you going over there for? You don't know nobody. You could get kidnapped. And you know the misconception of South Americans, they think people get kidnapped. So what happened was, and I was talking to some more people at my job. They told me like, man, you don't know Spanish. You don't know nobody over there. So anything could happen to you. But then again, you have to step out on faith.
It's that faith, man.
And you have to step out on faith and trust in the Lord. So that's what brought me back to that. But then this guy pulled me to the side during lunch. He's like, hey, man, you still got that ticket? I'm like, yeah, it's in my email. Why? He's like, if you're not going there, send me that ticket. So I started thinking, and I said to myself, and I know that probably wasn't nothing but the Holy Spirit telling me, now you could miss this opportunity. So then I started thinking, I could be like 60 or 70 or older than that, sitting on the porch, having regrets like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. See, the thing I think the Lord does is he puts us in these situations to give us a door for more opportunities. But it's up to us, like, and it's a choice.
Absolutely.
It's a choice. Like everything we do is a choice.
Now what they don't understand is this woman that gave you this ticket is your wife.
Yeah, she's my wife.
Y'all together now.
But we wasn't at first.
But I'm just saying, imagine if you would have hesitated and listened to what they were saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How far did that take you just stepping out on faith?
But see, the crazy thing is growing up, I always would listen to other people. And see, my parents always told me, you're going to have to do things on your own. You can listen to people. It's good to have advice. But at the end, you still got to make the decision on your own.
Man, I would have never took you, Claude, to listen to other people, bro.
Yeah, man.
Because you're so artistically and different than everybody I've ever met. Like the love you share, how you express yourself, it's not Mobilian. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, like, people have to understand, people that are really like mentally inclined, that know more, or either that are artists, we're always looked at differently because we see things differently. See, like you could see that floor. Like the squares in the floor, you just see the floor, and you'll just see it's a floor. But see, a person that's an artist, they'll look at the detail, they'll look at the squares in the floor, how it's made, the length. But see, artists, we look at things and we view things differently. All artists view and look at things differently. But at the same time, we always get negative aspects for art. Even though sometimes we could see the vision, but some people don't see the vision. Like Walt Disney. Walt Disney was a visionary. When he was the one that said he wanted to put sound in cartoons. People was like, man, who does that? We don't have sound in that. We don't have sound in movies. But see, that was back then. But he did it in his own garage, creating the sound and everything for his cartoons. I think it was Steamboat Willie before Mickey Mouse. And then he did all that. But see, like, we always try to go above what people say we can't do. That's how a lot of artists are.
Most people ride this line and y'all all over that line, and then go below the line.
We're on the waves, we're over, up under, we're all underneath, beneath, and in the front and inside. Yeah, that's how we look at things. We look at things so differently.
So let me ask you this. So I watch you. We actually got it on record, like you doing this. Man. I've seen like you working, and I can't say that I seen the wheels turning, but I saw you cut out and do stuff and just put pieces of a puzzle together to create art. So I got a question. I had a couple of them that I written down. So how does your Christian faith influence your artistic vision and the themes you explore in your work? Because I know you heavy on faith, you heavy on belief. Like when you're doing things, how does that influence what you do? Does it influence, your thought process as you're developing what you're about to pour your heart into?
Sometimes I can come up with an idea, a concept, and then sometimes just at the spur of the moment, I'll be like, well, let me just do this. But see, like I said, that's just God, man. And I don't know how it comes. It just comes. And sometimes it's been times where I've been wanting to paint like stuff that's like really thought provoking, and sometimes almost to the point where people be like, man, why would you do that? Because it's be so bad and so like nasty or obscure. And then I have to think to myself like, man, God gave me that gift to do that. So how can that glorify his kingdom?
Right. Right.
So sometimes a lot of stuff I've held back on not doing.
Got you. Just because it wouldn't.
Just you understand, because it's just like he gave it to me, he could take it from me.
Absolutely.
So like I have to remind myself sometimes of that. And sometimes my mind, just our mind, all our minds are like that.
Right.
Because we're worldly.
Right.
We're not, we have to get back to the way how God made us to be.
Right. Right.
And that's a struggle.
Right.
That's like a battle. Cause like a lot of stuff I know, like about the word and stuff, I didn't know that.
Right.
But see, like I said, God puts you in certain situations where he'll make you want, either you can accept it or you can reject it. That's how I have to look at it. Cause like, man, I've been in so many certain situations and I had to sit back and think, and I would just think about my grandmother. God bless her. She would always tell me, I'm praying for you. You need to pray. You need to do this. Now I found out the importance of prayer. Right. And I found out that it's people that will pray against you that can block your prayer.
Absolutely.
I didn't even know that. See, this is deep, and it's not just the physical, it's really a spiritual battle.
There you go.
It's so spiritual. Like,
right.
See, people think and see, like I think Bruce Lee said it, and that's more spiritual too, what he said. He said, fight what you can't see.
Right.
He would always say, be like water.
That's it, man.
And fight what you can't see.
Right.
Because we're not, honestly, we're really not, and I got to get out of this, but it's just my flesh. We got to stop arguing and fighting with each other.
We do.
Because when Jesus gave us commandment to love one another, love thy neighbor. That means like your addicted neighbor, your drug addicted neighbor,
right?
Your homosexual neighbor,
right?
Your criminal neighbor.
Right.
That means it all. And see, the thing I had to realize and think to myself, there's going to come a day where we're going to stand before him.
Right. And
that's the day. And my uncle always told me there's 3 things in this life you can't avoid. And he said this: your life, your birth, your death, and judgment day. He said those are 3 things you're gonna make time for.
Because you can avoid taxes.
Yeah, and he said that. He said you can't sit up and ask somebody, "Can you give me a quarter? Can you give me a ride?" And he said those are 3 appointments, that you are gonna make time for.
Absolutely.
So like, a judgment day is like, see, and I had to get into my mind, like we have to get into this mindset where we can't. God created us, so our ears. He can hear everything we listen to.
Right.
He can see everything we do.
Right.
He everything we say, he knows. So like, he created all that. He created us. So how can we not? We can't hide. We can't avoid that. So in the thing, another pastor said, this English pastor, he told me, and it still sits in my mind to this day. When he judges us, he's not going to ask you what compelled you to do that. Who told you? Who made you? The thing that's going to really question us, and we're going to have to give account, is he's going to ask you, why?
Right.
Why did you do that?
Right.
Why? And we're going to have to answer. I told my uncle, I was like, I don't want to stand in front of him and give him reasons why. I just want to just go in. But see, I know it's not going to be like that. But see, I have to repent. And we have to repent. Sometimes I have to catch myself, or sometimes it's be, and I just say to myself, if I get into it with somebody, just say, Lord, forgive me.
Right.
Please forgive me.
It go back to what
social media.
We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but principalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even what happened to Daniel.
Right.
When the angel told him.
Right. I've been trying to get to you.
Yeah, but I had to fight, and Michael had to come help me.
Fight. There you go, man.
I had to fight and see like. This, like, and I had to explain this, and another thing I had to get in my mind too, and I had to. We all need to take a time to get off social media. Social media really is a distraction to keep us from our higher calling with God. Right. And see, like, I argue with people on social media about many different things, and see, like, I tell people, like, one guy I saw, he was convicted, and they gave him 2 life sentences, but it was like it's something. And this happened to a lot of people. And Bill Clinton made this happen with the 3 strikes law. Right. And people don't know Biden helped him put that into effect also. Right. And see, the thing is, people was like, well, man, that dude did this, he did that. I'm like, man, like, I could see that, but 2 life sentences for something like that, I can see that. But in my wife's country, they don't have a death penalty. Right. They don't have life. Their life sentence in her country is 15 years.
Wow.
But here it's like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but that's why we have to rethink our justice system. And I tell people, And it's a lot of innocent people. Like, people's been innocent. Our people have been innocent, wrongly convicted,
right,
before we even had civil rights. And I have to tell people, man, just because that happened to them, don't let that think that won't happen to you.
Absolutely.
Because these situations, you can be put in a situation where that can happen to you.
Right.
And you will want somebody to come to you.
Right.
Everybody that's incarcerated is not guilty.
Absolutely.
Like what happened to Khalif Browder.
Right.
If he would have took that plea,
right,
but he was so but he had committed suicide. But see, if someone that knew the Lord probably would have talked to him,
right,
he could have found a better way than to commit suicide.
So now you got me running. So when it's funny to me how artists and people who think like you always are so involved into the world and what is going on, socially, economically, politically, and then it's like you pour that out into what you do.
Oh yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Like that's always been a crazy thing to me. Like to watch people, that because you do sculptures and stuff too.
Yeah.
And to watch you make something like it's this one painting you did on the wall. It was the black and white painting, got the big eyes on it. I seen it on Instagram. I can't even remember what you did.
I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about? It was a depiction of a man with this animal or something, but it was just it spoke so much to me because
I'd have to see it again.
Man, it's crazy the interpretation that you can get. Like when I sit down and interpret scripture, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And when you look at a piece of art, you interpret life out of that art. Yeah, and it's just you think about where that artist's mind was when he did that.
Or what he was going through, what he was thinking.
Facts,
yeah,
right,
a lot of artists are like that. They put their heart and soul into a lot of their work, or sometimes they could be going through something.
Right.
Yep. And that's it's just like what you said when they put their heart and soul into it. It just depends on the situation or what they're going through, or it could just be like a spur of the moment thing.
Right.
Like it just depends on how we feeling, or what we're going through.
So you mentioned social media, right? We were talking, and I had asked you, how do you handle the criticism? How do you handle the negativity when you pour your heart and soul into something that you're doing? Rather, because you DJ, music, art, all of that stuff is an expression of who you are. But then when you do that, and that's your gift, that's what God gave you. Yeah. How do you handle the negativity that comes, or the criticism that comes from that when people don't agree or don't like something that you put out or something that you've done?
Well, we always going to have some person that's going to think negative. But you always have to look at it like this: like you can't please everybody. Right. You're always going to have one person out there that's going to have something to say, or have something unnerving about anything. That could be just like by first appearance. Right. You could somebody could meet someone and be like, they'll talk to somebody like, I don't like him, and I've had this happen many times. And I would ask them, well, why you don't like them? I just don't like them. Right. And that's just how it is. You just can't please everybody. But more than likely, you will always have more people that are pleased and that will like than more people that will dislike. Wow. It's just a balance. It's a balance. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. You will always have more people that will like more than those that will dislike you. And sometimes you have to look past that. They'll give their opinion that they don't like that. But you'll be like, okay, thank you. Well, and just keep it moving. Right. You have to keep moving. You have to. You can't just sit in one place and just worry about it. Because sometimes somebody will say something to me negative, like, well, I don't like that. I don't want to hear that. And I'll be like, okay. And sometimes it will bother me, but I will have to go back to what a lot of other people would tell me. Right. Man, don't worry about that. Right. Do you see all these other people that like that? Well, why would you worry about what they say? Right. And sometimes like us artists and just people in general will be hard on ourselves. Right. We'll be like, man, well, why they don't like that? Is it something I need to change and something I need to do? When all the time it's not you, it's just them. Absolutely. And you have to be like, you just have to keep moving forward. You have to it's just like a kid on a bike. If you fall, you got to get back up. And that's how we are with our walk with God. If we fall and we mess up, we just have to repent and get back on and just keep moving forward. That's it. Keep moving forward. Like Willie D said it. Like Willie D, I'll never forget. This is like one of most profound things I heard Willie D said. Like when you're past and you're trying to remember stuff, you have to look at it like when you're riding down the highway. Like it's when you see a sign, you see the sign, you up close to the sign, but when you ride by the sign, it keeps getting small and small to the point where you don't see it. And that's how you have to look at life and negativity and stuff like that, or things that's really bad in your life.
Right.
You have to keep moving forward to the point where it's not in your mind no more.
Right.
And just have something to occupy.
That's
basically
good,
something
dude.
to occupy your time, or something that you be stuck on.
That's good, bro. That is good.
Yeah, I know, right? When
That's
he said
good.
that, I was like, man, that's like, because some of us will get stuck in our past, and Jesus told us to leave the past alone.
Right.
And a lot of and looking back hinder us from going forward.
Right.
And doing, because our blessings are probably what we have to keep going forward. We have to keep. We can't be complacent.
Right.
We have to keep moving.
Right.
But like, I think when you do that, keep dwelling on what people say in the past, it blocks your blessings.
It does.
That blocks, and you
like,
shouldn't.
Most important, like you say, it keep you from moving forward.
Yep.
Because if you get stuck in that spot.
A lot of people like that, and it's not, and it's just them. It's just people. But we have to tell people. We have to let them know. We have to encourage them, and like. That's how we have to be with our walk with God. We can't keep beating ourselves up because we were born. Our fleshly nature was born into sin, so we just can't keep like, oh man, I did this. I can't, man. Just take it to God. We have to take everything to Him, and He'll help us. Man, just take everything to Him. We have to take everything to Him.
Let me ask you this: do you think or believe that there are certain truths that can, or messages that can only be conveyed through art? Meaning that on some messages words can't express, that it has to be conveyed or related through art.
Yeah, some things, certain things. That's like when you see like a natural, like just the wonder of God. Like if you go to see like a waterfall or just something that's not man-made.
Oh, come on, man.
You see it, you be like, man, how? You just some things you can't explain. You be like that. It just
that's the Rocky Mountains for me. You know,
that's just self-explanatory.
Yes,
you just be like, man,
yes.
you just have to just sit and look and just be in amazement and awe.
The heavens.
Or look at ourselves. Like we're a work of art. We were formed out of clay.
Right.
We were formed,
made in His image.
Yeah. That's why some people ask it like, is God real? I'm like, man, look at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
And people don't understand. That's why demons hate us, because we are made in the image of God.
Man, what you say?
The thing is, the Lord gave us power, but we can't tap into that power because we got these distractions.
Right.
This is distracting us from reaching
our higher self.
Yeah.
Right.
And right now, our technology is, I honestly think this, our technology is suppressed. Now, like if you look back, even though they were pagan, the Egyptians.
Right.
Tell me how could, like, they were way more advanced than how civilization is today.
Right.
Like people don't take into account of that.
Right.
Like the Moors.
Absolutely.
How did they, the mathematical things, the
collectiveness.
Yeah.
Yes. No distraction and collectiveness.
People, and we're suppressed. We should be way more advanced than what we are.
Right.
And I think our system is suppressing our.
Right.
Like great scientists have been suppressed.
Right.
Tesla, like a lot of these people.
Oh yeah, man.
They want us to keep us at one certain level.
You know what's crazy about people like Tesla? Like he's a scientist, but I think like he was a mixture of artistically.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because that is like a form of art.
Absolutely, and it takes imagination in order to be able to do and see what he saw. A lot of people don't know Tesla invented the Wi-Fi way before the Wi-Fi ever existed.
Yeah.
So in order for you to be able to see into that realm, which people don't know this either, Tesla believed in the angel numerology.
Oh yeah,
and he said that he got his ideas from this, like a download in his head.
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah, and so he it was almost like he was explaining like God was giving him these visions
yeah.
of numbers and everything, and he
yeah.
would put all this stuff together like a piece of a puzzle like an
yeah,
artist,
yeah.
you know. But people like him, we suppressed him to the point to where like I'm just finding out who Nikola Tesla was.
Oh yeah,
because you know they keep people like him out of history. Because you know he didn't conform or didn't line up to
it makes people
to
think
the system. Yeah, man.
These things make people think, and that's why a lot of people now. That's one good thing. Like a lot of people are speaking out against this, like Hollywood and all these entertainment industry, the entertainment industry.
Right.
These people, they know who God is.
They
know who Christ is.
They know.
But it's like they don't want people to know that.
They know.
Like right now, we have so many things that are just blocking us.
Satanic, man.
It's just an agenda, man. And and the thing is that they're going after our children.
Absolutely. You know, I believe
And
the reason why
Lord
they
told us
blocking
about children
is that because they want to. It all starts with the children.
Children, yes,
If you can
because
get
they're the future.
you got a whole generation if you can get the children.
Yeah,
A whole generation. So Hollywood, like their target is our children. Their target is the youth, because if they can exploit them, they can get it all. The reason they know that God exists is because they know who's running and making them dance. They know that there's, you know, people call them the Illuminati. You can call them whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But there's a entity that has the world set on the pace that it is, and it is a ungodly pace.
Oh, yeah.
But it has to happen. We know that prophecy has to be fulfilled. Yeah, but
it's
most
God's
definitely-
will. It's the will. It's
absolutely,
His will. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, bro. So how do you think we move forward from here, as not just as believers, but you know, as spiritual beings who are traveling in this life, journeying to get to where Christ has called us to be? How do we continue to go? And also bring up those, because you know the Bible say, raise up a child in the way that they should go.
We should tell others. We need to tell others. I try my best to do it. Like every time, if I get on Instagram, if I have a story, I put a Bible, a biblical.
I've always noticed that
quote in there. I always put a biblical quote in there,
right?
Because I know somebody's reading or somebody's watching, or I'll post a video about God and what He's saying. See, like. It's a lot of posts I made, but one was so profound to a friend of mine. He's like, man, I never looked at this like this. Cause like the guy said is like, man, this life doesn't care about you. This world does, and it doesn't. It's gonna come a day where we're not gonna be here, and we're gonna have to decide. It's a choice. It's
Absolutely.
like a crossroads. We're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do. What the Lord say, or we're gonna do our own way.
Right.
It's like, you know, it's a choice. These are choices we have to sit down and really think about where we're gonna go when we leave here.
Right.
And some people are just thinking that this is just it.
Yeah.
But there's a life. And the preacher said this. He said, it was Pastor Charles Lawson. He's the one that really kind of woke me up. He said, there's gonna come a point where you die. People need to know where they're gonna go when they take their last breath. The very moment when you take your last breath, that very second, you're going somewhere.
Right.
It's either heaven or hell, so you have to decide. And the Bible makes it better. See, the thing is, like, they're trying to suppress the Bible. They're gonna say it's fairy tales and all this stuff. But I tell people, and I have to let myself know, the life we live and the life after this life is more. The life after we live is more real in your hand in front of your face.
Absolutely.
That's how real it is.
Absolutely.
The spiritual world and the things that happen in the spiritual world affect this world, the physical world.
Absolutely.
And people don't believe that and all this stuff. And like, man, like, but like this lady told me, this old couple told me, they was married for like 40 some years. They told me, he's like, man, all you can do is tell people.
Right.
All you can do is tell them. And I think back to what Christ said. Christ told people too. He warned them.
That's it.
He warned. There's nobody in the Bible that warned us more about hell than Jesus.
Right. Right.
Well, Jesus, this and this, man. He's told him. He said, "I saw Satan fall like lightning."
Right.
So I'm like, man, like it's
God
something
said,
serious. That is more serious than anything where you're going when you leave. That is the most serious to me. And I have to say to myself, I told my cousin this too a week ago. I tell her, I'm like, man, if I'm about to sin, and I know it's the Holy Spirit telling me, you about to do that, is that worth you losing your soul over?
Right.
Is that worth you going to hell over?
Right.
Just that one thing.
Right.
But see, it's our flesh, and
we ask ourselves that question.
We have to. It's a battle, man. It's a battle, man.
Right.
And it's one we can't avoid. We have to keep. That's why another thing too, and I have to get into it too. We have to have a relationship.
It's all about relationship.
It's relationship.
All about relationship.
Yep.
100%.
And that we have to ask him, like, Lord, renew my mind, renew my spirit. Help me to make a right decision.
Right.
We have to make the right decisions. Like, man. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Right. Nobody is excluded from this. I'm not saying I'm far from perfect.
Right.
But I have to remind myself, Lord, just Lord, help me to make a right decision, to guide me.
Right.
And lead me on this day. Let me do your will on this day. Let thy will be done.
Right.
I have to remind myself. And I tell people, and I know a lot of people in Atlanta that don't, believe and know what I know, but I pray to the Lord and tell them, like, Lord, help me to show them or show them.
Right.
Show them.
Right.
Yep.
And right. That's all we can do.
And he watches over me. It's been situations I've been where, man, I've been like, man, thank you, Lord.
Right.
Thank you.
I made a post not too long ago. It said, I watch people take their last breath not knowing their destination, not knowing their soul's destination.
Oh, that's
that's what made me become a pastor. That's what. Yeah,
man, that's like something.
Right,
see that work. It don't work on me, but it never leaves my mind.
Right.
Cause none of us are promised. Like even Tupac said it. Nobody's promised the next day. Right. We're not promising the next day, minute, hour, or second.
Man, how sad is it how the decline that we've taken in hip hop?
Oh man, it's the thing is, like, honestly, and I tell people, like, when you talk about hip hop, especially the music, the art, the graffiti aspect was the first aspect of it.
Right.
But then when music and everything started getting into it, like the founders, it was a lot of game. But it was a lot of violence in it when it first started. But in order to stop the violence, that's when they started doing it. Hip hop, they would have like b-boy battles, rapping battles, and stuff like this. That was all created to stop the violence.
Right.
Now look, it's done a total 360, and now we got violence in it. But see, the situation it is with the crack epidemic and what's going on now with the gun violence.
Right.
But that was always in hip hop, but they did it in a way to keep it out of it.
Right.
I think the best era of hip hop was when they made everybody conscious.
Exactly.
When we had Public Enemy, when we had like who else it was? We had Public Enemy, we had Hieroglyphics, we had Tribe, we had who else do we have? It was so many positive rappers out there. Queen Latifah.
Common.
Yeah, Common, Dead Prez. Like I know those guys. One of the Mike Flo, I know him. Shout out to Mike Flo. I know.
All right, cool,
I know him. Like all the Brand Nubian, all these positive rappers, man. Like it was so many. But then all of a sudden, I guess like the labels and I guess the powers that be,
absolutely,
were like, man, we got to stop this.
Right. Because we're waking the people up.
Yeah. But at the same time, the negative part woke people up too, like NWA when they was talking about the police.
Right.
And some people live in areas where they don't think the police is like that.
Right.
And see, and at the same time, they still was waking people up. Ice Cube was doing it.
Right.
And see, a lot of these rappers was doing it.
Pac definitely did.
Yeah, Pac did that too. But see, Pac grew up as a Panther.
Right.
But see, Pac had a negative and he had a positive side, but he was always telling people what was going on and about the plight of our people.
Right.
And a kid, he said it one time, he said the kid asked him, he's like, man, you my role model. He looked at the kid and told the kid, he's like, man, Malcolm X should be your role model.
Right.
I shouldn't be your role model. Malcolm X should be your role model.
Yeah.
And see, he was always telling people, but he was always wanting people, and it wasn't just for black people. He was about Hispanic people too, and like a lot of people. And the crazy thing about it is when it was conscious, it was waking white people up too. Public Enemy was waking white people up.
Absolutely.
Because at some time, a majority of this music was being bought by white people.
Absolutely. It still is a lot.
Yeah, a lot of this hip hop and a lot of this music is being bought by white people.
Right.
So we just can't exclude white people out of it. And a lot of people get mad about this, but like they get upset and talk about Eminem. But see, you have to look at it like them. Eminem came up poor.
Right.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Black people are not the only people that are poor. He was poor too. So at the same time, and his mom sued him.
Right. Right.
Like, it don't get no more dirty or gutter than that than having your own mom sue you.
Right.
So at the same time, and he can rhyme. He can really rhyme.
He can beat the dude bad.
And I got a lot of stuff from him when he wasn't even signed by Dr. Dre. When he was on Battle Axe Records. I remember Eminem.
Right.
When he was still calling himself Slim Shady.
Yeah.
But see, at that time, when people see that about Eminem, that ought to make them want to step their game up.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Absolutely.
Just because you see him doing good, try to do better.
Yes.
But see, hip hop was always like that.
Always.
And that the aspects that we grew up in hip hop, every rapper had their own style. Their own style of dress, their own style of rhyming, their own
distinct
way
from
of
everybody
words.
else.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Outkast. That's why I miss Outkast. But like I keep telling people, Outkast can't keep making albums. It's up for the new generation to do that. But even though he's kind of obscure and weird, but I always got to say this, man, I like Tyler, the Creator.
Right.
Tyler, the Creator, he is so, and the thing is, Khaled got mad at him for getting a Grammy because Khaled didn't get the Grammy.
Right.
But see, it comes to a point where everybody doesn't want to hear the same thing all the time. And see, Tyler, he's like, man, his music is just, it's just when I hear it. And me being the age that I am, to listen to somebody as young as him,
right,
man, Tyler is just creative. And like right now, a lot of people can't get with it, but I like Andre 3000's album. I like Andre.
The Flute album.
That album is good to me. See,
I tried, Claude. I tried.
when I'm doing art or something,
right,
I can just create, listen to that. Yeah, but that's not for everybody. But it's not a bad album. But
that goes back to though. See, Andre is he's not a rapper. He's never been a rapper to me.
Oh, he always
been
said that. He said that, and they asked him like, "Why won't you do another hip hop album?" He's like, "Well, honestly, I'm rapping about the same thing. I don't have nothing new to be rapping about."
Right. And
he just wanted to like, and it's a lot of things he said like, man, I don't want to do that. And he said, when you get to that point, like how he did when he got a Grammy, it took him to a point where he's like, man, I don't want to. The fame is not all that to him.
Right. Because he lived it. He's done all of that.
But the thing about it is, I would run into him a lot in Atlanta.
Yeah.
All of those guys, Outkast, Good and all those guys are humble, and they would just come up to you and talk to you like how we and you talking to everybody.
Right.
Like they're not like, they know they're in the public eye, but they don't let that overshadow that they still human.
Exactly.
And see, and a lot of them have to get out of that. Like it's like you're not too above anywhere where anyone can touch you. You're not like that. The only one we should look to and glorify like that is God.
Absolutely.
That's the only one.
Absolutely.
That's and see those guys, they're just nice, humble, down to earth guys. But like this new generation of music, I try to get into it, and some of it I like, and some it's off and on with me. It's some of it, but Tyler, man, I
find myself I can't listen to hardly any of it. I'm not gonna lie, man.
I understand.
I really find myself like always listening to something from that past time, and because now it's so much clout chasing, and people are trying to express something that they don't live, have never seen, will never see it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, if you're in order for an artist to really express himself, whether that is musically or however, man, that comes from life.
Yeah, they express themselves but like a lot of these gangster rappers, especially the ones out in California and New York, they seen that, they live that. But like I said to myself, like some of it is good, like Notorious Big, Tupac and stuff, and like these new generation rappers. But I'm saying to myself, like, how much more of that can you rap about?
Exactly.
And a lot of these rappers that was in our heyday, like Naughty by Nature and all those guys, they seen that stuff too.
Right.
But they didn't just rap about that. They rapped about escape from that.
Exactly.
You had like Big Pun.
Right.
One of the to me one of the greatest lyricists ever. He rapped about some of that stuff too, but he rapped also about enjoying life, having fun.
Right.
Like LL Cool J.
I think that's one of the biggest differences is we was escaping oppression.
Yeah, that's why a lot of them look beyond that.
Right.
Like Tribe Called Quest, they look beyond that.
Right.
Even though they knew about drugs, they knew about all that stuff, but that wasn't what they always just rapped about.
Exactly, because we were escaping it.
Yeah, escaping it.
It seemed like this
not
generation,
embracing it. They embracing it.
Absolutely.
Instead of trying to find an escape for it.
Man.
Yep.
Yes.
And we like, and I think it's up to us, the older cats, to let them know that there's more to life than this.
Right. Because now we're becoming the elders, man.
And even though I grew up in Mobile, and I grew up around Run DMC and all that stuff, but like I said, my escape outlet was to watch TV. When I saw this stuff on TV, I'm like, man, I would like to do that. I like to be, and I like, it's more, and see, a lot of Americans need to get out of this frame of mind too. If you ever get a chance, get your passport. I always tell people this, ever since I came back from South America, man, get your passport. Even if you're going to travel somewhere overseas, even if you have a layover in Jamaica or even London, you could say, yeah, I was in London. Because it's more to life than just America.
Just America.
Because some people think it's just America, or they just their neighborhood, or they just they block.
Right.
It's more, man. It's so much we missing out on. And like I said, time is not waiting on no one.
Man, I remember at one point in my life, man, I never until the age of 14, I did not leave DIP in the Maysville area. I never went outside of the area.
I believe it. That's
and
like people in New York.
When I went, man, I'm like, wait a minute, wow.
There's so much.
How long was you in South America?
I was supposed to be there for 3 weeks. I lived there for 7 years. That's how much I loved it. Like, just imagine being in a place where there's so much love, even though they're going through oppression and things too with the government stuff too. But like, they got so much love for each other. Like me and my wife, we was coming from the park one day, and we ran into these guys, and they was speaking to her in Spanish, and they was like, man, like, we're about to have a barbecue. You know what they did? They blocked the streets off. They got an old table. I mean, an old door, big old door, because they worked on antiques, and they put the door and got some braces, like horses, like wooden horses, braced that up, and everybody in the neighborhood brought something for them to barbecue, and they had a barbecue in the middle of the street.
Wow.
And I'm just looking like, man, like,
wow. Speaking of antiques, what that is you pulled up in, man? What?
Oh, that was my dad's car. It's a 1948 Chevrolet.
1948 Chevy, bro.
I like old cars.
That thing, I know every time I see you, you're always in some like some just real antiquish.
Yeah.
Speaks volume, man.
Yeah.
You don't see that stuff right there no more, man.
Yeah. I like old cars, man. And the thing about it is, like, I got another one I'm trying to finish. Lord willing, I hope I'll be able to finish it. But like, I don't know. I like new cars to a most point, but like old cars, they got more like design in them. They got more detail in them. And see, everybody couldn't afford a car back then.
Right.
So when they made it built to last. So like, it's kind of simple, like, just to see something that big to have such a small engine in it.
Right.
And
that thing is crazy, man.
And it builds up speed. You don't just push the gas and it has a build up speed.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, like, I'm fine with it. And I got a lot of friends I know in California that they drive theirs every day.
Right.
And I asked them, like, one guy helped me. I know his name is Thee the coil cutter. Me and him are real cool, and he. On Instagram, he helped me to find tires for that car.
Oh, wow.
Because when my dad had that car, the last time he drove it was in the late 90s. And it sat in the garage until last year when I started driving. But he passed in 2001.
Gotcha.
So I had to find, and I'm driving. Next thing you know, like, the tread, about that much of the tread came off of it. And I told my wife, she's like, look, don't drive that car no more. So I asked the guy, I was like, man, what kind of tires can I buy for it? And he told me. And then when I was talking to him, I'm like, man, well, when do you guys drive your cars? He's like, man, we drive our cars every day. He's like, what's the sense of having something like that?
Right.
And you just drive it on certain days. He's like, it's a car. It's meant to be driven.
Right.
It's not going to, and I had to say to myself, you're not going to be able to drive forever.
Right.
So you need to take the moment while you can to drive it. Like, and a lot of those guys in LA and, all over, even in Japan, they love American old cars too. So they say to themselves, man, you get the opportunity to drive it. Like, because you might not never get an opportunity again to do that. Right. So, like, drive it. That's their motto. Drive it, man.
You turn a lot of heads in that thing, man.
Yeah, man.
I know you turn a lot of heads in that thing, man. Yeah.
But I have to be mindful of where I drive and where I park it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Because somebody will try to tote that thing away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is a beautiful piece of machine, man.
Oh, yeah. And it's crazy sometimes I think about it and I look back, I was like, man, those things was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like now it's like very, very rare.
I'm talking rare.
Yeah.
Rare. But that's life, right?
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fleeting, man, and it's passing us by.
Passing us by fast.
Yeah,
Very
fast. Yeah, we need to take advantage of it, and we need to really enjoy every moment, man. Because eternity coming, dog.
Oh yeah.
Eternity coming. Yeah.
It could be like,
I believe us believers gonna have way more better time on that side than we do on this side.
Oh yeah. We just got to stay focused and just keep moving. Don't let nothing. I always say to myself, don't let nothing try to hinder you from making it to heaven.
Absolutely.
Don't try to let anything, because this world, like, we get caught up, and I ain't gonna lie, I get caught up too. But I have to remind myself, man, there's life beyond this life.
Right.
You have to understand and have to be like, man, you just got to stay focused. You got to stay focused, because so many things will deter you.
Right. And
it's a daily struggle. Yep.
Hey man, we're gonna end on that note, man.
Yep.
That was an awesome interview, man. My dude Claude, man. We're gonna put his all his social media, Instagram tags up, and this has been a long time coming. And it was, we got to do this again, bro.
Okay, sure.
We got to do this again,
for sure,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do this again, man. Hey, until next time, man, we love y'all, man. Y'all remember to be safe out there. Keep it real, man. Hold and raw real. We'll see you.
God bless you.
God bless the real. Holy, raw and real. God bless the real. Holy, raw and real. God bless the real. Holy, raw and real. God bless the real. Holy,